Hey everybody, welcome into the President's Office here at Oklahoma State University. I'm Adam Hildebrand alongside OSU President Jim Hess, and we're going to have a chance to sit down for a minute and talk a little bit about his vision and his goals for Oklahoma State moving forward, because in theory, Jim, you had some time to catch up over the summer. I don't know that you slowed down at all, but hopefully you feel like you got your head back above water a little bit. We're going into your first full semester here at Oklahoma State. And right from the beginning, you mentioned student experience as a top priority for you as president of the university. What does that mean to you as we embark on your first full semester here at OSU?
Well, we're focused on from the day a student arrives, whether that be through their orientation or admission process or their first day of class, all the way through graduation. We want that experience to be the very best they can have. And to effect that, what we are going to be initiating is every student gets an academic counselor when they come to the university, and that counselor works with them to get them in the right curriculum, the right coursework, and to get them on their degree path. But what they also need from the very first day they arrive is a career readiness counselor. Someone who focuses on what are you going to be best at? What are your hopes and dreams for the kind of job that you'd like to have? And work with that student from the time they're a freshman until they graduate and help them get placed in the great job. Most students wait until they're a senior. In the fall of their senior year, they start thinking about, I guess I better have a resume. Maybe I ought to think about getting some interviewing skill help, all of those things. But we really want to back that process up all the way back to the freshman year. And that might be assessing them about what their attributes are and the kind of job they'd be best at. But it will be a career readiness to tell them along the way, here are the skills that you need to be a great workforce addition to an employer. You know, we have 265,000 active alums in our association. And those folks can be great mentors and great career placement officers. So our intent is to match every student with an alum, to be a mentor, to help them find a job, and to maybe even hire them. So I think if we think about this as an OSU family, and we get our students, our younger family members connected with our alums, I think it'll be a great service to our students.
You said sometimes you wonder what it would be like to be a freshman again. This will be your first full semester as university president. Do you feel like a freshman again a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm a rookie. I feel like I've started all over again on this campus. It's very rewarding to be here. My favorite experience is to walk from Whitehurst to the Student Union or to the library, because you encounter so many faces who are all friendly and embracing. And I see what is in their faces is hope and promise. And they're thinking about what the rest of their life will be like. And many of them may have anxiety, as I did when I was a freshman. And I want to give them all the confidence that they can know that their experience will be transformational, that'll change the entire trajectory of their life.
One thing that has become more and more prominent is a focus on mental health, and certainly that plays into the student experience as well. What are kind of some thoughts and plans on the future of how to help students be mentally well while they're here on campus?
Well, you know, we live in a world that is complicated for students. And the students of today are bombarded with lots of social media, lots of media exposure about how they should feel, what they should look like, how they should think. And I think it's very difficult for a young person these days. And when they come to a campus that may be bigger than their entire hometown. When I came to this campus, there were more people in my dorm than there were in my hometown. And I felt a lot of anxiety about being successful and being accepted. And so I know that all students at some point in time have anxiousness about their success as a college student. And some of them have had other challenges in their upbringing and in their teenage life. Some of them have had difficult circumstances at home. Some of them may have had mental health issues in the past, but it really doesn't matter whether it's just ordinary anxiety or clinical depression or previous life experiences. We need to be able to get them the services that they need. So the first cowgirl, Angela, and I have initiated our mental health task force. We have a great group of people working with us. And one of the things that we're focused on is getting all of our counseling and support services under one virtual umbrella, so that a student may access a master schedule to get an appointment. We have lots of counseling services all over this campus in different locations. And the master schedule will allow a student to make an appointment and then get to the right place at the right time. Every student can be successful if we give them the right academic support, the right mental health support that they need. And that's our job here, is to make sure that their experience is the very best it can be. We're their home away from home. And so in many ways, Angela and I feel like we're surrogate parents of 25,000 people. And we take it as a moral responsibility to make sure that the well-being of those students is forthright in our mind all the time.
Well, mental health has certainly become more and more prominent and more important, and we'll be looking forward to talking more with you and with Angela about what that's going to look like moving forward here at OSU. One other thing that's been important is treating Oklahoma State as a system as a whole, the one university system. There's many different campuses across the state. Tell me about what the vision is for that moving forward and how you plan to tie all those campuses together.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it as a system, because that's exactly the goal that I've been working on, for us to embrace it as a system. We have many different missions. Stillwater has a specific mission. Oklahoma City has a specific mission. OSU IT in Okmulgee has a specific mission. But our responsibility is to meet those students where they are, get them through whatever program they've chosen, and to get them employed in the job that they want or in a graduate program if that's their desire. So when you think about OSU as a system, what it really means is that here in Stillwater, we need to honor what those individual missions of those different locations are and provide the back office and support services for them to be successful and give their students the best experience they can. So what does that look like? It means that our registration systems and our admissions processes look alike, our payment processes look alike, our academic counseling services are very, very similar, that matriculation from one campus to another, transferring courses for additional college credit, working toward another degree, that has to be seamless. In addition, we have many A&M partners at NEO, at Connors, Langston, and Panhandle. And one of the things that we'll be embarking on at NEO and Connors and Panhandle is offering OSU courses on those campuses. NEO is up in the far northeastern quarter of the state. They're a 2-year institution. They do a great job, and we get many, many students from that location and Connors down at Warner as well, and a lot of our programs. But many of those students are place-bound. They can't get to Stillwater. They have families or a business interests or whatever the case may be. And so what we want to do is push upper division OSU coursework on those campuses for those students. It's good for the community, it's great for those institutions, and it's great for the student.
How did your time and experience working with OSU Tulsa, which was a big assignment in and of itself, how did that affect your passion for the system as a whole and now your leadership of that?
Well, I had the opportunity to start OSU Tulsa for OSU in 1999, in January of 1999, and it was a great experience for me because we had to start from scratch. Every OSU system that's currently run, whether it be software application or advising, fiscal services, whatever it might be, we had to start it from scratch. And so it gave me the opportunity to see, how do you take a disparate system in one location and merge it into another? And all those difficulties and challenges, we overcame all of them, but it was a great experience because it's the same experience that we're going to replicate in Okmulgee or Oklahoma City. It was great preparation work. And one of the things that I think is really important for people to remember is that every student who enters a OSU campus needs to have the very same OSU experience. so that while we honor the mission of those individual places, that the feel of being part of an OSU family is exactly the same in every location.
Well, the family continues to grow and evolve, certainly, and one of your big tasks when you started was securing funding for the vet med school, and you did $250 million. It was almost immediate. It felt like after you started your tenure. Now that the funding is secured, what comes next? What's the vision for that next step of OSU Vet Med?
Well, we've already begun the planning processes for what the animal teaching hospital will look like. We've identified a couple of locations that would be ideal for it. And it's really, it's going to be a facility that I think will be transformational for the College of Veterinary Medicine. As you know, we were not ranked particularly high among colleges of veterinary medicine in the United States. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just a resource problem that had occurred over a number of years. So this time around, we're going to be able to build a facility, and it'll be a $328 million facility. $250 million from this last year's appropriation. We had $78 million in capital funds from a previous appropriation. It will be the premier animal teaching hospital in the United States. And I think it's something that, as a land-grant university, that we're all going to be very, very proud of. Not just the people who are here, but the people who are our alums, our donors, the folks who believe so much in the OSU's mission. I just think it will be a masterful demonstration of our land-grant mission.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about next. So that's a great segue. You're making my job easy on me. Oklahoma State's land-grant mission, essentially to find ways to turn around and impact everyday Oklahomans all across the state, every county in the state. What do you envision for that land-grant mission under your tenure?
Well, I always like to describe Oklahoma State University as the people's university. We have lots of institutions in this state. They do a great job. We just happen to be better at it. Of course, I would say that. But our land-grant mission makes us unique. We are different from every other university or college in this state. And our land-grant mission, its history, we need to fully embrace it. I know all of our students know that we are a land-grant institution. But what I'd like for all of our students and our alums and donors and our supporters to remember is that the land-grant mission focuses on a single concept, and that is solving practical problems that our state and our society face, and giving those solutions in a research application or an extension application or an instruction application to solve their problems. In the land-grant university's history, and I know you know this, but it goes all the way back to the Morrill Act in 1860, and this institution's history goes all the way back to 1890. And when you think about the number of people whose lives have been affected and the problems that were solved as a result of our land-grant mission, our state would not be where it is today had it not been for the land-grant mission of Oklahoma State University.
Well, we'll certainly be looking forward to seeing how OSU continues to carry out that land-grant mission and your impact on that as your time as president as well. What else? What have we not covered that is kind of on your docket and in the forefront of your mind right now as the president of Oklahoma State?
Well, one of my most pressing priorities is to raise money for student scholarships. You know, we've done a great job of keeping our tuition and fees flat. For the last 4 years, we've not raised tuition and fees, and we've not had but one tuition and fee increase in the last 6 years. And the reason for that is when we raise tuition and fees, it lessens the impact of a donor's scholarship contribution to a student. So our number one goal is to keep affordability always on our mind for our students. And in that vein, we need to raise a lot of money for student scholarships, because affordability is the number one obstacle for a student getting a college degree. And so we're going to be about raising a significant amount of money over the next 18 months for student scholarships. We'd love for every single student to receive a $5,000 scholarship every year. Now that's a big number, and it will require a significant fundraising effort, but it is our number one priority. Additionally, We received some funding a couple of years ago for a life sciences building. Our life sciences, our biology labs and microbiology are in an older facility. And the location where the old steam plant is, it's coming down as we speak. That will be the location for the life sciences building. And so we need to have a capital infusion of about $80 million to be able to complete that facility. So those are very pressing fundraising initiatives, and we're going to be about getting to that very quickly.
Well, and as you said, it really all goes back to those students that are going to be impacted by those funds and the way that they are eventually going to be able to go out and help Oklahoma as a whole. So really looking forward to that. Thank you so much for giving us some time today, and we'll look forward to our next conversation.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
That's OSU President Dr. Jim Hess. We'll talk to you all next time.